Welcome back to Outlook Houston. Now, Marilyn Logan was 19 years old and engaged to be married when her fiance reviewed her financial portfolio and dropped a bombshell that changed her life forever. Marilyn is now the author of I Can't Afford to Marry You, a guide to the true cost of love. When you're dating somebody, when is the appropriate time to start talking about money?
I think as soon as possible. I think when your second or third date, you need to have that type of a conversation, because you can choose to. Today, the credit report is the new adult report card, because that determines who you are. You know, you can get a person's background check and a copy of their credit report before you even have dinner with them, and it'll tell whether or not you want to have a date after another date after another date. Because on that credit report, it has a pattern of what you've been doing with your life.
But that seems so early when trying to get to know someone. Third date, that you're checking out their credit report and their finances.
I didn't say their finances. I said their credit report. Remember, I'm not talking about looking to find out if they're making six figures or not. I'm just asking you to understand how they manage their money, which means how do they manage their life.
Let's go back to your story, because I jumped into something without even explaining to viewers. I mean, you're 19 years old, you're engaged. I read the book. Fabulous. And it's a small book, so I was able to read it, you know, fairly quickly.
I call it a book for non-readers, for people who really don't enjoy reading, because as you probably know, the book kind of reads like a romance novel, but it's about money and relationships. And the book really came about because I used to manage money for people. And what I realized when I managed money for people for this major company, it didn't matter if it was the janitor or the engineer. It didn't matter if someone didn't have a degree or if they had 2 or 3 degrees. They all had something in common, which was none of the people knew how to manage money. So when they would sit in my office, they would repeat the exact same thing. How come I didn't learn this sooner?
But you came a long way from where you were, because you were 19 years old and you were in some pretty deep debt.
Exactly.
And I said your fiance dropped the bombshell, but the bombshell really was he told you he couldn't afford to marry you.
That's correct. And so when I looked at the people, and the people looking at me, monies that I used to manage when I was in that business, it made me think to myself, I didn't always used to be this way. How did I get this knowledge? And when I sat back and realized where I came from, what happened, because it is a true story, and it was a marriage about to occur. It was my marriage. And 1 month before this fabulous wedding, he decided to look at my finances. And he said, baby, based on how you manage and you spend your money, let's be clear about something. I do love you, but right now, you spend more money than you make. And I can't afford to marry you. Now, people read that and say, Marilyn, why did he wait 30 days before the wedding? Why didn't he do it 6 months before or 9 months before? My response is, how many people do you know that had gotten married and are not talking about money right now, or they talked about money 2 or 3 years into the marriage? Money is the #1 cause for divorce, and people aren't talking about money.
So the best piece of advice you can give to someone who's considering marriage or already married regarding their finances?
The best thing is to be willing to say, I don't know what I don't know, and I'm willing to learn where I am with you together. And let's form a partnership and develop a relationship, a strong financial relationship together.
And if you think this was good, the book is even better. It's I Can't Afford to Marry You, and you can get all of the rest of the information from Marilyn. And if you want more information on Marilyn Logan, you can log on the web at marilynlogan.com.